Hello again, everyone. I'm so thankful again that you have chosen to be with me again today for this September the 20th edition of Carry Your Cross. And I was thinking this morning about really over the last couple of years with everything that has happened in our world, our nation, our state, our community. And especially what has happened with COVID. My heart goes out to so many of you who continue to struggle with this, with family members in the hospital or friends in the hospital. And my heart really goes out to those of you who have lost loved ones, those that have gone on before us, mean the world to you and to me. And my heart just is in sorrow for so many that have lost so much, especially over these last couple of years. And, over that time, we have seen a lot of T-shirts, a lot of different things on the internet, things that we see on billboards in regard to fear versus faith, or faith versus fear. And I've even taught about this so many times in my sermons. There's no way that faith and fear can coincide within the same arena. We have to embrace faith in order to get over fear. But so many times we tend to embrace fear more than faith. I believe as human beings, many times we are prone to fear. Things come into our lives, out of our lives, that cause that particular emotion. And I've spoken on Carry Your Cross so many times concerning one particular chapter in God's Word that brings so much comfort, especially when we are confronting fear, and that is the 23rd Psalm. And I just want to call your attention to this particular chapter again, primarily verse 4, where David writes, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me." Now, it just stands to reason that many times we do not want to go through a valley. We want to be standing on the mountaintop, because valleys many times are treacherous. They're threatening. There are predators there, or people hiding there that want to do ill to us and other things. And valleys are frowned upon greatly by all of us. We want things to go well in our lives, and we want to have no trouble whatsoever. But David understood that life is somehow going to make its way into our awareness in regard to being negative at times. So he says, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil." Why does he say that? Because right here he says, "For you, God, you are with me. And as you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me." Now, of course, this is bringing thoughts and visions in regard to being a shepherd, because God is our shepherd. But you understand that in regard to an earthly shepherd, those who do watch over literal sheep, they did carry a rod. They did carry a staff. A rod, of course, was a weapon that they could hit predators with and kind of keep them at bay. Of course, the staff, especially around Christmas time, we've seen the little, crooked staffs that shepherds use, and many times to put around the sheep's neck to pull them out of thickets or briars or some other place. And you've got to understand that late in the day, early evening, the shepherds would find caves or alcoves or somewhere in order for their sheep to go into to be protected. And the shepherd, of course, would lay down at the doorway or the entrance of the cave or the alcove in order to use his rod and his staff in order to keep predators at bay. And I believe the imagery here reminds all of us that God is our shepherd as well. And his rod and his staff is meant to protect us. So even in the midst of our loved ones going on to be with him, and us being left here with a great amount of grief and a great amount of sorrow, God is the only one who protects us. He is the only one who lays down at the entrance of those caves or whatever, and gives us his presence in order to allow us to be safe and to be protected. But I want to go back just real quick and allude to something else. You know, David says, even though I'll walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Have you ever thought about that terminology? What do you have to have in order for a shadow to be produced? You've got to have a light source. You've got to have light. And I believe this is what David is talking about here, is that even as we walk through the valleys, even as we confront death, grief, and sorrow, God is the one who protects us, yes, with his rod and with his staff, but also with his presence. Because he ultimately is our light. He's the light of the world. And this is what David alludes to when he says, God, you are with me. You will never leave me alone. So if you're hurting today, maybe from a loss of a loved one, or maybe some other uncertainty in the midst of your life, I pray that you will reach out to the light. I pray that you will reach out to the one who protects us and loves us and gives us his mercy and his grace to make it through these trials and tribulations every single day. If you've never given Jesus Christ a chance, I pray that in this world right now that is so overwhelmed with fear and uncertainty, I pray that you would cling to the one who loves you the most. This is Lane Collins right here at Mount Calvary Baptist Church. I'm asking you to, especially those of you who do have relationships with Christ, to continue to carry your cross into this world. You be a source of encouragement and peace and hope to those that you come into contact with. And for those of you who have yet to receive Christ, I pray again that you will give him the chance that he so desperately wants to prove himself to you. Until next time, I love you, and God bless.